Okay, so it's April 5th, and today I've been working on comedy. I've been working on, well, not comedy, like the comic relief scenes from the film Mega Man. It's going well. I've got about 3 minutes done of a 6-minute scene today, so that's good progress. That means tomorrow I can come back and attack the second half with the first half already done, so I can tweak the first half while doing the second, and I've already got a base plate to jump from. One thing I've found that is that neutral scenes where there's not much going on, but you need that music, that little bit of music, just to kind of support the acting a little bit, or support the scene. Just let the audience know that it isn't quite so serious what they're talking about. They're normally the hardest scenes to score, because there's no real common voice. There's no real normal way to do it. So I'm doing with what I've done what I think makes the scene a little bit funnier and lets the audience know that it's not a 100% serious scene, which is brilliant. And I get to paint a villain in a nice way as well, which is good. So I get to put his theme in a playful context, which you don't normally do with villain themes. And I'll play you a bit of it now. This is playing up the comedy of a scene. I'm not going to tell you what scene, but a scene. If it plays, come on. Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah. Now, if you remember me talking about the villain theme a few days back, I've actually drawn a melody from the Wily's Castle stage theme from Mega Man 2, the game, and at the end of it, it goes da 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 da. Well, I'm using that as Wily, the villain's theme, and if you hear on the vibraphone, I think I've got it on the vibraphone here, I'm actually playing his melody underneath this kind of this kind of comic texture with a bit more rhythm to it. So instead of da 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 da, it's now da 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 da. Bit more, just same melody, just in a nice. You see, the aim of this is to for the, I mean, like, it might be a bit of a spoiler for those watching me now, but the character Wily turns evil. I mean, if you know the Mega Man, that's not spoiling anything. But the people who don't know Mega Man and are watching the film will not know that the character's going to turn at some point. So this was my chance to kind of paint him as a positive character, as a kind of yeah, I could paint him as not a villain. And so when he does turn, it's more impactful. That's the aim. That was the aim of this. There's also a part in the scene where I get to open up and be a little bit kind of heroic. Not heroic. See, most of the power in that section is actually coming from my brass, which is sounds like this. So I've got my big chords on the trombones, and then a solo French horn comes in now. That's where the kind of noble feeling comes from, because there's something going on in the scene where I wanted it to feel noble, you know, to feel this character's good, you know, he's a noble, but not a nobleman. Obviously he's not a nobleman, but he's, you know, I want to evoke that feeling of kind of nobility, you know, that kind of respect, and that comes through brilliantly with the brass. So yeah, that's what I've been doing today. I think I might have to start doing like a tip of the day or something, just like a comment, you know, because people keep asking me things like, how do I do cues, what do I use, blah blah blah. Well, one of the things I'll be going into in the next few video blogs is Ableton Live, because a few people have asked me about this, how I use it for film score. And using it as a main sequencer is unusual for film score, because it's not, well, the previous versions weren't really set up at all for it, so it was pretty useless to use Ableton Live. But now I find it's brilliant. And this, I won't show you the actual what I'm doing on the screen with this one, because there's no real Ableton Live specific features that I'm using on it today. This is mainly orchestral, using samples. But when it gets into the more sound designy things, I'll show you some of the features that I use, which is the reason why I normally use, well, which is why I do use Ableton Live. So yeah, I'll be going into that in the next few ones. What did I want to talk about today? Productivity. That was it. And I was thinking yesterday. I was tired and I was working, and I was thinking, what would be the best way to say this? It's like the most important instrument you've got is your mind. None of your instruments or stuff. It's in your mind. And if you're tired, you can't focus. If you can't focus, you're not productive. And I see some people that stay awake. I've done it myself. You stay awake till 6 AM, but from the hours of 11 PM you were dead tired. So you've battled through this tiredness, and what will end up happening is it won't be your best work. You're tired. You're not focused. So, you know, is it worth getting some sleep, waking up and carrying on the next day? I found that's the best thing. So productivity, use your mind. What else to be productive? I always have a notepad. I always have a notepad with me, and I always take notes. I mean, notepads are cheap. You could buy one per project. Buy a notepad and just make notes, brainstorm, get all the ideas out of your mind, and then write them down, so that if you do have to go through a crunch, like you do have to work through the night and you're dead tired, at least you've got notes telling you exactly what you could do, and you wrote those down while you were thinking straight. So always trust your notes, trust your awake self. So even when you're tired and you look at it and go, I don't remember, that's not a good idea, remember that the one on the page, the notes on the page, were what you wrote when you were thinking straight. Because caffeine, I mean, like sometimes when you're late at night, you have a lot of caffeine, you know, to keep yourself going, and then that caffeine, got a message anyway, and then the caffeine will make you all hyper, and you'll think, oh, I'm you know, brilliant, I've got some brilliant ideas. Not always the best ideas, trust me. They're the ideas that you think are great because you feel slightly awake all of a sudden. You're like, oh, this is brilliant, I'll get that down. If you listen back to it the next day, it's probably shit. Let's be honest. I mean, I've written some really shit stuff when I'm tired. So, tip of the day, sleep. Don't get into the reverse sleep pattern. Awake at night, sleep during the day. Because you actually work better during the day. There's some kind of scientific reason, something to do with the sunlight in your skin and flows of blood. Flows of blood? Your blood flows better when it's daytime, and your mind's whatever. So try and be awake during the day, and you'll find that you'll be more productive. If I'm wrong, write in the comments that no, that's wrong, I work better at night. But I mean, if the gist of it is, try and work when you're awake. Don't work when you're sleepy or tired. And if you're finding yourself stuck, don't sit at it. And I mean, if you've got to force the music, force it and use up, you know, every bit of skill. If you can, you know, take a step back, do something else for 20 minutes. Keep it in your mind, you know, the back of your mind. Go play some sports or watch a film or something. Just keep the ideas burning, and then come back to it when you're focused. Because when you're focused, you'll work better. So, like I say, in the next few days, I'll be doing some screen capture stuff, so you'll be able to see what I'm actually working on. Other than that, I'm running out of time, so I'll try and come up with a better tip of the day tomorrow. But yeah, stay productive. Thank you to all the people that have been subscribing to me and leaving nice comments and messages and stuff. Please continue to do so, because it makes me feel good. And you know, making someone else happy makes you happy. And I'm happy because you people... Yeah, anyway, I'm rambling. Cheers for coming today, and I'll see you all tomorrow, I hope. Bye-bye.